Hello and welcome to today's spooky Dungeons and Dragons session. So that's how I chose to start that. Welcome, friends. Good to see you. Very glad you're here. I see that we've got Psychanthrope in the house. I see that we've got Nassif lurking. Thank you so much. Lurking is where you leave the stream on in a tab in the background, which is always super duper very helpful, especially for numbers and that sort of thing. Kistrel's here, Lionar's here. Man, we got the whole gang. This is good stuff. You may or may not notice a few differences in tonight's session, a few differences in tonight's cast, even a few differences in today's background. Yes, today is Antagonist Day. We are shifting. We are shifting away, and it's.
We're thrilling with the villains.
Oh, Jeff, amazing. Oh, show the whole sweater. That's the whole sweater.
Are you saying this is another We're Dealing with Vampires stream? Is that what that hint is about?
No. So, yes, today we're doing something a little bit different. It is just past Halloween, and that's really just a nice coincidence that we get to have our wonderful players step into the shoes of their counterparts in a different, a little bit more evil adventuring party. And that's going to be this evening's game. This is hopefully going to be a one-shot. It's going, to be a one-shot. I'm looking at all of you.
Even if we have to cut on a cliffhanger, this is gonna be a one-shot.
Before we do introductions, I want to do just a couple of little safety things because we are changing up the format and we're changing up the game style and we're changing up the play style for this game. So it's a good idea to go over again various. Yes, the Soylent Green shirt is perfect for lizard folk. Like perfect, love it. It's people, and that's the point. So when we're playing a group of good aligned characters who are all sort of aimed toward the same goal, that means that there's not going to be a whole lot of in-party fighting unless that's part of the plot, right? But this isn't that party. This is a party of generally neutral or evil aligned characters who are, let's say, not in it for the team. Each of them
morally flexible.
Each of them has their own goals that they are attempting to accomplish, and each of them has their own reasons for being in the group they're in. And that means that this could get really contentious really quick. I'm lifting my ban on PvP, especially since I know that these players have already exercised their ability to do it properly and responsibly. But yes, this could end up being a disaster. We'll see exactly how it goes. But I just wanted to check in with all of the players to make sure everyone recognizes that we are playing very different characters this evening. They are not good people, and that if things get contentious, it's all in character, and we still have the big X, or you can just call for a cut if you need us to stop for any reason. Yeah?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay.
Thumbs up.
Just wanted to throw that out there. With the headphones on top, I love it. It's perfect. We're going to go ahead and do our introductions. These are going to take a little bit longer since we are essentially debuting new characters. Let's go ahead and start with our chunky lizard boy. Jeff, who are you and who are you playing today? Oh no, this is the moment he freezes.
Because you might want to be able to hear me for this introduction.
I agree. That's a good way to go.
Hello, I'm Jeff Holland. I'll be playing. Hello, I'm Jeff Holland. I'll be playing Chomper, our resident barbarian, cannibal, and Roomba for small bad guys. And he is our bruiser. He's a monster. He is a terrible, evil creature that has a lot more going on under there, but it basically it can be summed up as food. But what if was food?
Tell me a little bit about why Chomper is with Anton and the rest of the group.
Not to give away the game, but suffice to say he is with Anton because Anton will let him be the best adventurer he can be.
Fair enough. We'll go with that.
And nothing else.
Adventure and nothing else. Jen, loving the combination of the cloak and the background. Very, very cool. Who are you and who are you playing this evening?
I'm Jen Winterrose, also known as the Swedish Geekball, and I am playing Tarl. Now I want to say Tarl, so that's got you guys' fault. I'm playing Tarl, and technically we have seen Tarl before in the Lost episode. So my character encountered Tarl in the Lost. Actually, we all encountered Tarl, I think, because he was the one that had the his rope trick. We did.
We saw the rope trick.
But we're not entirely sure if that is the name that he offered at that time, which is fair because he doesn't always offer the same name. Tarl is a dark elf and night elf, an assassin, and he is here on his own ends. He's here because it's currently serving his purposes, and he's already been in the Forge of Fury, so he's hanging around for his own reasons.
Tarl's outward story is that he's in it for the money. He is just a mercenary, just in it for the money. That's the motivation that people around him know. But of course, he's got his own machinations that he's working on. And we will reveal by the end of this, by the post game, we'll reveal any connections or anything because there's no point in hiding it after that.
No.
Because again, this is going to be a one-shot.
It's going to be a one-shot.
So many times it means it'll happen, right?
Quick note, by the way. I designed these characters for the most part. Chomper is a level 8 beast barbarian, and Tarl is a Gloomstalker ranger. Both solo class. M, who are you, and who are you playing this evening?
I'm M. I'm entirely brain dead from work. Yay. I will be playing Daydreams at Night, aka Dream, aka Your Worst Nightmare, aka A Knife in the Dark, aka Yeah, baby, that's me. I am a Tabaxi bard. And this is actually a character that didn't come in that I was going to play in the normal campaign. So,
and this is not the first time we've seen Dream, although he's very different now than the first time we saw him. He was someone that the party needed to get a message to Meepo at the Sunless Citadel, and they were like, "Well, we can't be bothered to go out. We got places to be. So here's an idea. Let's be the NPCs. Let's hire an adventurer." And you got this bright-eyed, literally bushy-tailed little tabaxi who was just so excited to be of help. And now he's very different, but also kind of the same.
He did it.
I did it.
He did do the thing.
Finally, our illustrious, esteemed leader for the evening, Gail. Tell us who you are. Tell us who you're playing.
Hi, I'm Gail, or Olivia, and I will be playing Anton Cheval. We've seen him a few times before now. We've heard about him. We've seen him in a few flashbacks. He's a fucking bully, and I'm gonna have fun playing him because he's also a level 8 fighter.
Loving the mask as the hand puppet. Anton has been sort of a player in this game for a while now. He's been behind the scenes doing things. Now, Anton is possibly the most complex and least complex character of this entire party. Why don't you tell me one thing about his physical appearance that would stand out to anyone seeing him for the first time?
Flavor saver.
He does have a bit of a soul patch. I don't know if you can see it on my face, but like in the character art, he has full plate armor, and it's actually magic because it's full plate of gleaming. So even though he has seen combat over and over and over again, the plate always looks perfectly polished and clean. So that it's very shining and noticeable.
Now, we're going to go ahead and move ahead to our recap, but we're not going to recap last session because that's not super relevant to this evening. We're going to go ahead and recap the last time we saw these characters and give a little bit more about the background of how they got together. So the last time we saw Anton was at the War Council in Barnabas's army camp, yes?
Yes.
And during that meeting, you were sort of figuring out the disposition of forces. Yeah, you know that Nightscale the dragon had been doing like strafing runs across the orcs' ranks. You know that he hasn't been successful in driving them away. And you also know that the orcs, a whole ass army of them, is somehow feeding themselves without having any supply lines back to wherever it is they came from. Now, orcs can hunt the land, but there are a lot of orcs, and they would probably exhaust resources pretty quickly. So I believe it was Kretha specifically that decided that it's probable that they have some sort of magical way of feeding themselves, such as a good berry spell or something along those lines, so that they don't need supply lines.
Yeah, or at least not supply lines in the traditional sense. They could be magicking in their food some other way, like with teleportation or whatever, what have you. It's our job, because we didn't want to go be political in Mirabar, to deal with the supply line issue
Yes.
of the orc army.
And your team was selected to surveil the other side's military to see what you can find out. Try to find out where the food source is, if it's a singular place, and then cut it off if possible.
Disrupt it, destroy it, do whatever we can to fuck with it. Yeah. So yeah, that, I would assume that's what we've been doing for the past month. So
Makes sense
or
to
at
me.
least doing the research so that now we can act on it.
Now, before I go, I'm not going to ask each of you individually, but I did just give a little bit of recap of events that led up to where we are right now. Does anyone want to add anything before we move on into game?
Goblins are tangy but surprisingly filling.
For their size, yeah.
I have a lot of actual information about that shit. We'll talk later.
Okay, moving right along into game. Okay, that's not a good thing. Boom, there we go. Just got to do some quick resizing. I'm such a professional.